25 years ago, and today, the NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission, thank you, was founded 25 years ago, and it has been in existence up until now. How far so far? Let's talk about Niger Delta development this morning with the Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Samuel Ogbuku. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
25 years in office. How has it been?
Well, 25 years of existence, not 25 years in office.
Well, NDDC has been in office, so yeah. There's always a continuum of sorts, but I get the point.
Yeah, I think 25 years of the existence of NDDC, it has been a very, very long story of both sweet and bitter experience. NDDC, at the initial point when NDDC was formed, it was based on the agitation from the people of the Niger Delta on how to ensure that the oil mineral producing communities are also being reached out to by the federal government, especially in the area of infrastructural development. And based on that agitation, NDDC was formed as an offshoot from the defunct UMPADEC. So I think we also have to understand that as at then, when NDDC was formed, NDDC had both short, medium, and long-term plans. And the short was based on the immediate challenges the people were facing. Most communities never had drinking water, most communities never had schools, most communities never had hospitals, even internal roads in the communities, jetties, and these were the challenges the communities were facing. So I think NDDC at that point started facing those immediate challenges to ensure that these communities had all that. And NDDC did very well in that. That is why in most communities today in the Niger Delta, you go to, the only government presence you see are NDDC projects. Yes, along this period, NDDC must have had its own fair share of making mistakes. And I believe we have learned from our mistakes, and that is what we are doing right now, trying to improve on the successes of NDDC and also correcting those mistakes. That is what we are doing right now.
Perhaps one of the challenges that have also been noted, because I had the privilege of asking a former governor of, while in office, I asked him the question while in office, that it would seem like the collaboration between the state governments and NDDC wasn't quite significant. Because when I asked the question was, how can the NDDC, for instance, come into your state and implement developmental initiatives and not carry you along? And it would seem like the response was, no, they do their thing without letting us know and all of that. Is that a true situation of things? And if that is the case, any particular reason for that?
Well, I think yes. In the past, we've had those skirmishes with state governments, and most times the truth is that communities write to NDDC for specific needs, and NDDC deal with these communities directly. We have a directorate for community relations, and sometimes when these communities come up with their demands, we try as much as possible to reach out to them in meeting up those demands. But over time...
Directly to the communities?
Yeah, directly to the communities, because these communities, they need certain things. And over time, we realize that it has also been, at par with the interests of the state governments. And what we have done differently is to ensure that, yes, there is that synergy between the state governments, not only the state governments, even the IOCs and NDDC, because even the IOCs too, at a point, they complained that part of the reasons why they were reluctant in contributing was because NDDC was not carrying out projects in areas of their operations. So what we have done differently is to ensure that at least we have a Partners for Sustainable Development platform where our annual budgets will bring both the state governments, the IOCs, everybody together, even the communities themselves, to ensure that we put heads together to come up with something that represents all of us.
It's interesting that, this is, can I say, a fresh initiative, because on the one hand is the NDDC taking charge of developmental initiatives in the Niger Delta. On the other hand is the fact that states, oil producing, states, have some kind of direct, remuneration, if I can use the term, directly from the federal government. So one wonders then why they have to get that when the NDDC has an interface directly with the communities at the state governments are supposed to be directly dealing with.
Well, we are an interventionist agency, and what we do is to complement the effort of the state government. So it's not as if we're a government of our own. As an interventionist agency, what does intervention mean? At least, bridging that gap of underdevelopment. So we complement efforts of the state government, and in complementing this effort, we must also do it in synergy, and that is what we are doing right now.
Well, interesting. Well, you just have to say that because the questions are still there for Nigerians to ask you. But my colleague Kayla in Abuja has some questions for you as well. Go ahead, Kayla.
Indeed, Mr. Ogbuku, I needed you to clarify a particular story that we're seeing. Some story about unauthorized skill acquisition training. It was a message a few hours ago that was sent out to the Nigerian people to be careful of some unauthorized skill acquisition training. Could you elaborate on this?
Can you please say that again, please?
There's a headline right now. I think a lot of newspapers are carrying a story right now about an unauthorized skill acquisition training. The NDDC is telling the Nigerian people to be careful of some unauthorized skill acquisition training. Do you know anything about this? And could you elaborate on what's going on?
See, the truth is that as an organization, people tend to, scam innocent people. There are people who have been scammed using the name of NDDC, and it is left for us to always put out disclaimer there so that people shouldn't fall to such scam. There is an organization that did a skill acquisition program without our approval and wrote to us that we are owing them certain amount of money, and the next thing they said, they were suing us to court for not actually paying them for what they did. But you have no approval to do anything on behalf of NDDC. So we just thought there was a need to also enlighten the public that such is going on and people shouldn't participate in programs that are not being organized by NDDC. We have our platform, both social media and our offices in all the 9 states of the Niger Delta and even a liaison office in Abuja. So if you're in doubt of anything, at least you can come to our office straight. But our own programs are very, very clear. We had the Project Hope and the Youth Internship Scheme, which we have now merged into the NDDC Renewed Hope Empowerment Scheme. So I think these platforms are there. That is why we said, going forward, one of the innovations we came about with was creating data for our youths and women in the Niger Delta. So those who want to benefit from our scheme should actually register on that portal, and we're going to select you from that. So any for training, then you don't attend.
So let's talk about 25 years after. What would you say would be pivotal to the growth of the NDDC right now? Because we've seen President Tinubu, former President Goodluck Jonathan tasking the NDDC on leadership and being able to deliver on the mandate that it's been given. What's critical to achieving that particular mandate of the NDDC? And maybe you can speak to some of the biggest challenges of the last 25 years.
Well, let me start with the challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges of NDDC in the last 25 years is the high turnover of management in NDDC, especially the leadership. You will agree with me that NDCEOs in the last 25 years, which has actually destabilized the NDDC, that has also created room for inconsistency and projects not being taken to the latter, which has also created a lot of abandoned projects all over the place. The public need to know this. It's not because people that are there intended to abandon projects. But when someone is there for 1 year, the person leaves, his programs are not also being completed, his vision is not being achieved, another person comes after, and also to ensure that there is sustainability in everything we do.
I mean, it's interesting that you brought that up because that was what my next question was going to be. These legacy projects in the Niger Delta. And you've mentioned a few of them that you believe should be sorted out in the nearest future. One issue, though, with the Niger Delta has always been the people of the Niger Delta and how their lives have been improved or not. You know, so could you help us speak to the NDDC and the challenge when it comes to improving the lives of the people of the Niger Delta?
Well, improving on the lives of the people of the Niger Delta is to ensure that we carry out sustainable programs for the people of the Niger Delta. Because one, we have in the past carried out lots of competence. Definitely, they will also, abuse the process and also misuse opportunities, which is what was happening before. So, in improving in their lives, we are trying to ensure that we give opportunities to the right people so that it can be sustainable. Then, going further, we have also midwifed the process of the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce, which we're also using as a platform to reach out to entrepreneurs in the region, so that what we only do, we support the Chamber of Commerce financially for them to reach out to their members. That is why we say, because these funds are not going to be seen as government funds to be wasted. Like in the past, where people think that, oh, it is government money, so we're not paying back. They are definitely going to pay back because it's going to be structured. So I think for us, that is also securing the future of the people. So beyond that, we're also looking at projects that also add value to the environment by linking what has heard that our scholars have been stranded abroad. So health, infrastructure, all these we are putting together because they all work together to complement society. Portal, and we're going to select you from that. So anything that is not coming up from that our portal for training, then you don't attend.
So let's talk about 25 years after. What would you say would be pivotal to the growth of the NDDC right now? Because we've seen President Tinubu, former President Goodluck Jonathan tasking the NDDC on leadership and being able to deliver on the mandate that it's been given. What's critical to achieving that particular mandate of the NDDC? And maybe you can speak to some of the biggest challenges of the last 25 years.
Well, let me start with the challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges of NDDC in the last 25 years is the high turnover of management in NDDC, especially the leadership. You will agree with the last 25 years, which has actually destabilized the NDDC. That has also created room for inconsistency and projects not being taken to the latter, which has also created a lot of abandoned projects all over the place. The public need to know this. It's not because people that are there intended to abandon projects. But when someone is there for 1 year, the person completed, his vision is not been achieved, another person comes after 1 year again. There's that, that has actually affected NDDC, which I would say is one of the major challenges we've had in NDDC. And with that, this government, Mr. President tasked us that we must complete all abandoned legacy projects, and that is what we are trying to do. So for us, one of the major achievements we want to have, that is the process of ensuring that we work with data. And the data has helped because right now we are registering youths and women from the region, so in our portal. So based on that, we select and engage people based on their areas of strength and their areas of competence. Because if you engage people if you don't engage with the area of competence, definitely they will also, abuse the process and also misuse opportunities, which is what was happening before. So in improving in their lives, we are trying to ensure that we give opportunities to the right people so that it can be sustainable. Then going further, we have also midwifed the process of the Niger Delta Chamber of Commerce, which we're also using as a platform to reach out to entrepreneurs in the region, so that what we only do, we support the Chamber of Commerce financially for them to reach out to their members. That is why we say people should go and register with the Chamber of Commerce, because you cannot come to NDDC for support, for entrepreneurship, for agriculture. So the Chamber of Commerce, in our 2024 budget, we had the provision of 30 billion, which have already released 5 billion to them. So they are supposed to use this to be reaching out to entrepreneurs in the region, which we believe is going to be more sustainable, because these funds are not going to be seen as government funds to be wasted. Like in the past, where people think that, oh, it is government money, so we're not paying back. They are definitely going to pay back because it's going to be structured. So I think for us, that is also securing the future of the people. So beyond that, we're also looking at projects that also add value to the environment by linking communities, carrying out projects that are regional based, linking interstate projects, and also we're also looking at the medical aspect of it too, to ensure that yes, we have good hospitals in the region. And in trying to get those two good hospitals, we are building, we are right now putting together, there's a hospital project in Ikom in Cross River State and one in Port Harcourt. These two hospitals, they are both cardiovascular and orthopedic hospital. So by the time we finish furnishing those hospitals, we also want to partner with the private sector to ensure that it is properly run to serve the people of the Niger Delta. When it also comes to the area of human capital development, our scholarship scheme has also been very, 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 very successful. That is, nobody has heard that our scholars have been stranded abroad. So that we're also doing very well. Just last year alone, when we attended the graduation of our scholars in the University of Coventry, 17 of them graduated with their distinctions. That is to tell you the high level of success because of the process we put in place in selecting these the beneficiaries. So based on the high demand, we have also decided to start the local scholarship, where we're also going to do local MSc scholarship for postgraduate scholarship for the local universities here in Nigeria, just to ensure that you carry more persons along. So I think all these are things we are putting to ensure that at least the people of the Niger Delta benefit from different angles, from youth empowerment, women empowerment, education, health, infrastructure. All these we are putting together because they all work together to complement society.
The theme for your event this year, your 25-year anniversary, it was called Transmitting Vision to Reality for the Sustainable Development of the Niger Delta region. And I want to take us back to those abandoned projects, because that is the charge that was given to you, to the organization, to the commission, by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the celebration of 25 years. And I want to be able to read him directly. He says, I've directed the NDDC through the Ministry of Regional Development to complete and deliver all abandoned critical projects throughout the Niger Delta region. And the projects, and I'm going to read them out for you: Ka Ataba Bridge, the Okrika-Borokiri Bridge, the Bonny Ring Road, the Barigalo Road and bridges, and the East-West Sample roads and bridges, among others. What led to these projects being abandoned? And is it that money was given and the job wasn't done? Was money withheld and the job wasn't done? And then since the president has charged you now to ensure that these jobs are done, is there more money going to be released to them? What's the modus operandi? Help us understand this.
Well, I think if not for anything, those of us from the Niger Delta and everybody from the Niger Delta should actually be thankful to Mr. President for his interest and commitment towards ensuring that the Niger Delta is developed. Because if not for his interest, he wouldn't have actually been focused on ensuring that the management and the board of NDDC is doing what we're doing today. And based on his charge, we have actually gone to work long ago. All these projects you mentioned, almost all of them, at least contractors are back on site on this project. And they are working right now. You can actually take a tour to go and check. The one that we have not started immediately is the East-West Sample Road, which we're in process. Then the Barigolo Bridge project, that one too, we just went on a site visit just 2 weeks ago with the House of Reps Committee on NDDC, which we're also putting that process to ensure that we kickstart that project. I think these are the only two among the list that you called that we are not on site at the moment, but others were already on site. But I assure you that all these projects, they were not abandoned because maybe contractors ran away with money and they refused to do them. Sometimes, you know, we must also look at the process of, I have already explained to you one of the major reasons for all these abandoned projects, the high turnover of management in NDDC that has created instability. And I think that is one of the major factors. And once, you know, managements are changed, their priorities also change. So a project that was in the budget for this year, a new management come, they refocus their interest on another project, and that project starts suffering. And these projects were projects that were provided for in the budgets of those years, and some other person prepares a new budget and rather creates new priority, and those ones suffer. So I think all that, rather than going into those details, which I've already summarized by saying the high turnover of management, I think the most important thing is that we are back to work, we are complying with Mr. President's directive, and we thank him for showing so much interest in the Niger Delta. And I can assure you that before the end of Mr. President's tenure, we are going to see to the completion of these projects.
I mean, that's one thing. And also at that event, the 25-year anniversary, former President Goodluck Jonathan actually talked about what you just mentioned there right now, the high turnover of CEOs. Is there something that can be done about that? Or is it just a reality that we have to live with, that the turnovers of CEOs at the NDDC will continue to be very rampant? Or is there something that can be done to ensure more stability when it comes to the leadership of this commission?
Well, I think for me, it's in the hands of the leadership or the president at the moment, in order not to fall into the political differences that have actually bedeviled the Niger Delta Development Commission. For us, apart from Mr. President agreeing that we have to complete our tenure to ensure that we're held accountable for our 4 years, I think one of the things that we also have to take credit to on our own parties. I commend the chairman of our board, whom in the first board meeting actually admonished all of us, actually took us back to where NDDC is coming from and why we must work together to ensure that we don't disappoint Mr. President. And we all agree to work as a team. And gone are those days when people hear about internal fightings in NDDC. We all decided to resolve that this is a task that must be done. Let us ensure that we manage our differences and work for the people of the Niger Delta. And that is what all of us are doing, from the management to the board and even to the staff. The staff, they have given us that high level of cooperation to ensure that, yes, this board and management succeeds, because they are the ones that have suffered it in the past, which have affected even their work pace too. So I think everybody is working together to achieve that. So after our time, I believe whoever that comes to will now understand that there is an history of consistency and they won't allow consistency.
You know, one of the things that's bothered a number of people, and I have to say that somehow, the noise, the hula baloo about unrest in the Niger Delta area has calmed down thanks to some of the efforts of the NDDC. But when you were speaking the other time, you talked about the fact that you interface directly with the communities, and that's actually, you know, quite a good thing. And my colleague also spoke to some abandoned projects, wondering about the forensic audit revealed about 12,000 abandoned projects, or, you know, substandard projects and all. Now, in terms of this community ownership, how does it happen? How does the NDDC involve these host communities in the project, the selection, monitoring, evaluation, and all of that?
Well, just like as I told you earlier, I said we came up with the Partners for Sustainable Development. The Partners for Sustainable Development also involves the communities too. Not only communities, youth organizations, traditional rulers, everybody's involved. Because whatever we want to do, the benefit goes to the community. That is why we always tell communities that every project we bring to them, they must own it and they must make sure that, yes, they protect those projects, not allowing those projects to be vandalized by people. So I think the truth is that the communities are well involved, because most of the projects we do in communities, sometimes communities, they write to us. And based on the applications we get from communities, the ones that are not in our budget, we try to see how we can infuse them into our budget. But the ones that we can also intervene immediately based on the urgency, we do that. There are some times maybe you hear of cholera outbreak, and we just have to ensure that we intervene immediately because maybe the community, they don't have good drinking water. So these are the things we try to do. So communities always write to us, and because they write to our state offices, so the state office communicates those requests from communities to us.
You know, one thing that I always like to ask around is that of sustainability. First of all, before we go there, you mentioned some road infrastructure. Can you give us a timeline for each one of them? How soon can the people look forward to, okay, this road is going to be completed at this time and that one?
Well, like that of the Kaataba Bridge, I said the contractor has given us his commitment for ending of this year for commissioning.
And December?
That, yes. That is a commitment we extracted from the contractor. And at least on our own part, we are funding the project. Then that of the Bonny Ring Road, the contractor told us 2 years. So we're also going to work on those 2 years. Those projects are in partnership with NLNG, because we chose the model of partnership, because partnership drives the completion of projects faster. So I think when we came in, we decided to explore partnership. We looked at the model of which the Ogbea-Nimbe Road was done, which started before us. That is a partnership between NDDC and SPDC. So we decided to also, adopt such models in areas where we want to complete projects. So these projects, most of them, they gave us two years. So that is why I said by the ending of Mr. President's tenure, we should be seeing ourselves commissioning these projects. So we try to ensure that the projects do not suffer they don't suffer funding. So on our own part, we are going to do our best. But you see, the Niger Delta too, we have a situation whereby we have just 4 months of dry season. So we try to ensure that we take advantage of every dry season we have. It's a rainforest, so we have just November, December, January and February as dry season. After then it's wet season. So we try to put pressure on the contractors to even do their best to work even during the rain in order not to waste time. So we are working on those commitments we extracted from the contractors.
Do you have anything to do with the Port Harcourt-Bonny Road as well?
No. The Port Harcourt-Bonny Road, the aspect we are discussing with NLNG is the border to the East-West Road. Okay. So that is the aspect we just agreed with NLNG to undertake in this our partnership.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking about sustainability. It goes beyond commissioning. It goes beyond the people beginning to use the roads, and also what's your approach to ensuring that these projects, these road lines, power lines, health centers, don't fail within 2-3 years?
Yes, I think the most important thing is that we have also improved on ourselves. When I mean improving on ourselves, as our approach towards ensuring that, yes, monitoring. Because one area that we were lacking was the area of monitoring. It does not mean we don't have the staff, but the staff also lacked some of the tools too. Like, for example, our project monitoring and supervision directorate was lacking vehicles. So for them to go for inspection, a contractor have to be the one to hire a vehicle for them. Definitely, the contractor will definitely compromise them. But right now, all our state offices have been given vehicles for project monitoring. The project monitoring and supervision itself in the head office to also have vehicles right now. So we've been able to provide all that for them. So at least there is that confidence of going to work. And we try to also ensure that our processes of monitoring and evaluation also have improved. So right now, it is difficult for you to compromise our staff to give you evaluations that probably are not in order and are not complete, because we also match them with consultants too. So whatever evaluation they bring must also, be the same with that of the consultant. Because if the consultant brings something else and you bring something else, then there is going to be a question mark. So on all these major projects, we have consultants that are also doing their own independent job, while we have our project monitoring and supervision too.
Interesting that you answered the question in that way, because one also wonders, perhaps this is something you're also thinking about in terms of human capital development, where I don't know if there are any efforts underway to build the capacity of local contractors, engineers, and maybe even the youths. You spoke to the sense that the Niger Delta's development is driven by its own people.
Well, you see, since we came on board, we decided that as part of supporting this government, we're not going to make our people spectators to development. I can assure you that most of the jobs that are being carried out by NDDC are done by local contractors. Today, it is not as if our local contractors are not good. The best job can come out of the quality of supervision, if the supervision is best. So construction is all about equipment. Some of these equipments can be hired. So you give job to a local contractor. The local contractor can hire the best of equipment so long as you're funding him. And once you give him the best of supervision, his quality will be like that of Julius Berger. So we are not going to make our people spectators to development. Most of these jobs, today, the quality of jobs that we commission today that people see and people commend are done by local contractors. So it's not as if they are done by JB and the rest of them. So I can assure you that our local contractors are also being empowered. Then even for the youths, when we came on board, our first meeting with our youths, I told them that we're not going to do water hyacinth, which was actually one of the things that people dwelt on NDDC. I said, we're not going to do that because the president has directed us that we must not do it. We have to stop. And when I conveyed that message to them, most of them thought it was a joke. They disagreed with me. But I told them that we are going to create a more sustainable way of empowering you by ensuring that you start from point A, and I want to see youths that are also going to be constructing 10 kilometers of road in future. Today, as I speak to you, most of those youths are doing 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers of road. Some of them have the solar light jobs, and today they are happier. And you can see that you come to our gates today, you don't see people blocking the gate anymore because they are not looking for water hyacinth jobs. Because that was actually limiting the progress of our youths. But today, they themselves, most of them today, they have their own companies now. They go through the procurement process, and their company documents are now up to date. They now know what it means to pay tax. They now know what it means to do tax return and the rest of them.
Interesting. So let me quickly squeeze this one in. We have very limited time. So what projections can you, what protections can you guess, might help to shield NDDC's strategic agenda from political pressure, especially during election cycles or government transitions?
Well, you see, one thing we have done as NDDC at the moment. We inherited an NDDC that never had a proper corporate governance structure. So hence, anything can come in. But immediately we came in, we decided to engage KPMG as part of our restructuring and repositioning the commission to design corporate governance structure for NDDC, which include our SOPs and code of conduct. And KPMG have done that. The documents are ready. We are waiting to launch those documents because we also want to share the documents with the ICPC and EFCs for them to also make their own input too. So once that is out, that is going to strengthen the institution. That means we are going to be regulated internally and externally. That is the legacy we're leaving behind. So that whatever we're doing today, nobody will come and, unturned it.
Well, I'm pretty sure that we're going to unpack that some other time where we are able to host you. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I really wish I had more time on that one, because sustainability, will need this kind of soft infrastructure that you just spoke about. Mr. Samuel Ogbuku, Managing Director, NDDC. Thank you so much for your time. And congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you for all your support. Let me also use this opportunity to also extend my condolence to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. President, and also the family of President Muhammadu Buhari for this great loss of a man who have also worked for this country, have also dedicated his life to serving.
Our flowing rivers carved their path. A commission was born to weave hope into the fabric of our checkered past. NDDC stands tall, a North Star in the region, guiding our communities towards a brighter horizon. Our work is a mosaic crafted with care and precision, a masterpiece of sustainable development where different pieces fit together in perfect synchrony. As master builders, we've built roads that connect, bridges that unite, markets that enriches, street lights that illuminate, town halls to bond us and schools to educate us. We have equipped young minds with skills that empower. Through training and mentorship, we've fostered entrepreneurial growth and potential. Our commitment to agriculture is yielding a steady harvest of growth and abundance. Like farmers who plant, our seeds are proudly flourishing. For 25 years, we've become the catalysts, sparking growth and progress, lifting millions out of the shadows of despair and bringing prosperity to these great people that we serve. As we celebrate these 25 years of glorious service, as we honor our legacy and the lives we've transformed, may our impact continue to grow and flourish like a tree, bearing fruit of priceless peace and prosperity. For our people, may we continually become a beacon of hope that never fades, and a strong anchor that holds fast in the time of storm. Even as we continue to build a prosperous Niger Delta, where all man, woman, and child will thrive. 25 years on, NDDC, we're still making a difference. 25 years on, forever to go. Our commitment to the Niger Delta dream shall never end. It shall be a continuous love story of renewed hope that will forever be told and retold.